In this video, I'm going to cover everything I've learned about getting good grades from the smartest people that I know. This includes how I'm going to optimize my brain, the importance of planning, how I study efficiently, and much more things that I'm going to need to do in order to achieve perfect grades this year. This video has the potential to actually change your life if you're a student, so I'd try to at least watch to the end and see what you learn. If you do stick around to the end, you'll learn about the harsh truth about getting good grades and finding balance in life. If you don't already know me, I'm Corey, an Ascendant 3 player that wants to compete in Valorant semi-professionally at some of the highest levels of the game. This includes collegiate and tier 3 Valorant. I've talked about the Valorant aspect of my grind in previous videos, but obviously in order to play in collegiate Valorant, I'm going to have to get into college, and this means that I need to get good grades. Otherwise, my dreams die with me this year. I'm 17 and going into my last year of high school. This year feels like my last chance to do something with my life. I normally don't make videos like this, so if you're new here, please don't subscribe until you've watched a few of my other videos after this one. I don't want to spam your recommended page or notifications with videos that you just don't enjoy watching. Anyways, let's get started. This year, I want my brain and body performing at its peak, and this means that I'm aiming for extremely good physical and mental health. To me, this is the foundation of any successful person, whether it be a student, Valorant player, or doctor. These people would all benefit from faster cognition, higher energy levels, and the ability to focus at will. And all of these traits can be developed through good sleep hygiene, good nutrition, and especially through habits such as meditation and intense exercise. These good habits and their benefits will be really useful to me throughout all of my life, whether it be Valorant or academics, and I think that it's necessary that you work on all of these habits if you actually want to go somewhere in life. There's no easy way to do this, but what worked for me was writing down my goals for each habit that I wanted to achieve in the next few days, weeks, and even months, and then taking action immediately. More on this in the next section of the video. At the peak of my health and fitness last year, my brain felt completely different, and I had insane amounts of focus and discipline. This year, I'm going to need to get to that level again and even surpass it if I'm going to balance Valorant, YouTube, and school. For me, planning is going to be really important if I want to get good grades, because for my entire life, I've always struggled with organization. This section is going to cover the two types of planning that I'm going to implement during the school year, as well as how I stay consistent with my plans through something called reflection. Let's talk about reflection first, because this is the shit and it will change your life. Every single evening, I clear up some time with no technology, just me, a pen, and a paper, and I use this time to compare my exhaustive to-do list that I made for the day the night before and what I actually did. I try to really pinpoint mistakes that I'm making and how I can prevent myself from making them the next day. I also point out what I did well that day and make a mental note of what works so that I can keep doing it. It's important to make solutions simple yet effective. Now think about how much better my planning is because of these reflections. Each plan is built on actual data rather than assumptions. The first type of planning that I do is daily planning, which is done every night for the next day. This isn't just a small to-do list, but instead covers every section of my day and the tasks that I should be doing during all times. The next type of planning is weekly planning, which is done every Friday evening and takes into account all events, projects, and deadlines for the weekend and entirety of next week. This helps me structure my daily plans and especially my content creation workflow. I think that this is pretty beneficial because when I'm trying to balance Valorant, YouTube, and school, I don't have time to just sit around and think about what needs to be done. I need to have a constant sense of direction. So while it might seem like it, these plans that I make aren't just to feel good about myself, because I am the type of person that will stare at a wall for 10 minutes straight, lost in my thoughts instead of working. Having a plan gives me a constant sense of direction, and if I ever catch myself drifting in my mind, there's less friction to just start working, because I already know what I should be doing. Aside from planning, I also have a basic structure or schedule for each day that I'll cover near the end of the video. Alright, so disclaimer, I'm not really a nerd, but here's my method of studying that allowed me to pretty much get good grades on a test whenever I put even the slightest bit of effort. First of all, fuck notes, because it simply isn't worth it. The information doesn't get locked into your head, and you'll just end up treating your notes like the textbook, rereading them for hours upon hours. This is a massive waste of time, because why would you spend hours copying information that's already in the textbook just to reread them for even more hours when you can just use the textbook in the first place? School is basically 80% memorization, just like Valorant is 80% mechanics. At the highest level of academics, yes, you will need understanding and analysis, just like you'll need game sense in the highest levels of Valorant. But for most people, memorization will suffice. When I study, I only do what I need to do for the test, and 99% of the time, this is going to be practice questions. It's almost always worth practicing using flashcards, or if you're like me, read the thing you want to memorize and then look away while closing your eyes and reciting it. This might just be a me thing, but I have fairly good memory, and it's way easier and more efficient than taking notes. Another thing to note is that I only memorize what is useful. If I have a course outline or a unit outline, I memorize the entire list of vocabulary, what each word means, and then write down some practice questions on each concept that outline covers. For math, I literally just spam practice questions. I don't think I need to say anything more. It's not that complicated, but maybe that's because I'm Asian. Let me know in the comments. Okay, so here's where my approach should differ a lot from your guys's, even if you want good grades. I'm a YouTuber and aspiring Valorant Pro alongside my academic responsibilities, and this means that I have to use my time a lot more efficiently than other students. Here's my actual routine that is going to allow me to balance Valorant, YouTube, and academics. My mornings will pretty much always be the same, whether it be for weekends and weekdays. I'll wake up at 4:55 a.m. and use the first hour and a half to focus on my homework or other school-related tasks such as studying. After that, I'll go for a run, take a shower, and head to school, or if it's a weekend, I'll read for a bit. The reason for this intense morning routine is because I want my time after school to be solely dedicated to content creation and Valorant. I get home from school at 3:10 p.m. and this leaves me for around 4 to 5 hours to aim train, play comp games, death matches, and edit videos before I sleep at around 9 p.m. I want to leave all the homework that I have for the morning the next day and lock in on creating quality content for you guys during the evenings. In order to make this possible, I need to minimize the amount of homework that I take home, otherwise it might be too much for the short period of time I have allocated in the mornings, and this means that during school hours, I have to be locked in. I can't be thinking about anything other than the task at hand. If the teacher is talking, I need to be paying attention and internalizing the lesson. If I receive work to do during class, I have to work on it and do my best to complete it before the end of the period. This will minimize the amount of studying and homework that I have to do outside of school. I'll also probably use as much of lunch break as possible to finish homework or review for other classes. I don't want to have to take any homework home at all, if possible. Despite all of what I've told you in this video, it's still possible that I get atrocious grades and go nowhere in life this year, and that's because of the harsh truth about getting results. Planning doesn't mean shit. You could plan the most scientifically optimized routine, after-school protocols, and set strict bedtimes. You could watch thousands of hours of Radiant gameplay and make a perfect plan to rank up in Valorant. But in order to get anywhere, the truth is very simple. You have to take action. Just because in theory my plan is bulletproof, it doesn't mean that I will be able to succeed. I have to actually execute it and take action. A wise girl once told me about a saying. It goes like this: the proof is in the pudding. And this basically means that your hard work will always be evident in the things that you do and the results that show up. So I can say whatever shit I want, plan as much as I want, but if I don't do it, then it doesn't mean anything. It was all a bunch of phony baloney. All bark, no bite. All hat, no cattle. All sizzle and no steak. I'd be talking the talk without walking the walk. You know what I mean? Anyways, this is the end of the video. I'm going to be live streaming tomorrow on YouTube, and if you missed that one, I'm going to be live on Twitch every day after that. If you want to know more about the Valorant side of my journey and how I plan to hit Radiant, I made a video on that. It's on the screen right now, bro. You can click it. Thank you so much for watching.